The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup meeting. Today is Monday 4th of March 2019. Myself and Arnold are here today. As always, oh sorry, go on.
Go ahead and, oh, you got it, good.
I've got it, yep, should be able to see the screen. As always, if anyone's got any ideas, questions, queries, problems, please feel free to raise your hand and we'll see what we can accomplish. It's going to be a short one today. I do apologise in advance. I didn't want to cancel it, but at the same time, we're kind of really up against it from a time point of view, mainly to do with the training workshops that are taking place this week. So apologies for that. Updates, as you can, there was an update last week. Let's just remind myself what it was. Okay, actually there was two updates last week. There was a new release to the calendar, which was the fix which we spoke about last week to the time status facility within the calendar, and there was an update to the Chillcat. Now the Chillcat had quite a few new base classes released to it. So if anyone wants to make any use of those, they can be quite good and quite powerful. Okay, queries and questions. While I'm waiting for the questions to appear, let's just open the question box to make sure I'm not missing any here. Oh, we already have some. Okay. Got a question. Got one here. A question regarding upgrading command bars 302 to 405. Okay, let's get that microphone open. Hi, I'm not sure how we pronounce this. Keon?
Hi, this is Koen.
Koen, okay.
From the Netherlands.
We're sure how to pronounce that for Koen, that's good. So yes, upgrading. Do you want to explain what the question is?
Did you receive the email? Because I sent you also an email and you didn't respond yet. Just maybe you're too busy or didn't arrive at all.
We are playing catch up on a few things, if truth be told. I know you sent a couple, and I said how the initialization points had changed from the older version 3 to version 4. If we just open up, it can really be anyhow, not the workshop. Yes. Working hours, I'll do calendar. Let's just open this. It's, as I say, this is just as good as any. Oh,
actually, that problem is solved because that was our corresponding by email, and that was very clear. But meanwhile,
okay. Well, just for other users, just if they're wondering what that was, it's just. Let me just close that. Caught the wrong icon. It was to do the initialization. Just for the point of the recording, let's have a look at initialize template settings. So what you will see in the window in it is the initialization process. We'll take the calendar, but it's the same for many of the controls. Basically, you will get the init prepare, which is the first step of the initialization. All of the controls are done one after another. So this kind of embed point here, I'd have to get the actual the template number, the priority number, but basically the init prepare will be done all together, so different controls all done together, followed by init, so we can see the calendar and the date picker. So each one of the control init prepares are done, then the inits, then later you will get the init resize, and then init template settings and init complete. And the main reason we changed to that, it was a while ago, but of course it still can catch people out. The main reason we changed to that was we want to try and demonstrate different controls making use of each other. And basically that is we have to ensure that the control has been initialized, so the init prepare does that behind the scenes, so that other control can then grab the handle of its content. So that's why they were done. So apologies for catching out any the older code. It wasn't intentional. Well, it was intentional, but it couldn't be avoided if we do want the controls to work with each other.
Oh, it's no problem. It was just okay. I have to change that. fine. Problem solved. That
Okay.
part.
So then you had, so we did get another email. It's a, I'm just getting you the question here now. Just make sure I've got this. Yes, movie code should be fine. The point.
Yes, I have 2 other problems now.
Okay, so do you want to talk me through those?
I have made 2 screenshots from an older version of the program and a newer version.
Oh, right. Okay.
So maybe it is. Can I take over the screen for a while?
Yes, I'm going to say I've got the email here, but yeah, I can do that.
Okay. I have 2 problems. Do I have the screen now, or?
Oh, just 1 second. Just coming to you now. Okay, so you should get a message through to share your screen.
Yep. Done. Okay. Hi all. I have 2 problems. This is the old version. This is version command bars 3.02.
Okay.
And you can see there is no window height here. Joe, this is fine. Now, all of a sudden, this is command bars 4.5. I have a kind of window height here. And I didn't change anything in the default settings. I used just the default settings for the ribbon bar height. And this is just appearing. That's the first problem.
Okay, are you getting that all the time?
I get that all the time since I upgraded to command bars 4.05.
Okay. Okay.
I'm still working on.
I noticed the merging isn't the same. Like on the first one, we can see the test database and basically the quick access area. They are next to each other, whereas on the 405 they aren't. So if you take a look at the next one.
Sorry, I don't understand.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's just
also quick access area.
Yeah. No, I thought there was I thought the control underneath was. I thought it was taking up the 2 lines. No, that's not it. That's a red herring. So yes, no. Well, so I see the problem. It looks like it's there is a method called sync OCX height. I'm wondering whether there's a bug in that. Okay, I can take a look at that. Is there any way you can?
Note.
Yep.
Sync OCX height.
Well, it is called automatically. I mean, you could try it in the init complete and just call command bars dot sync OCX height.
Yeah, and in the init.
Yes, init complete.
Init complete. I will try that.
But I will too also look into that. And that's on the email. Just let me check. That's on the email you sent me.
Okay.
Oh yes, yeah, I've got that. Yep, no problem. Well, there is a problem, but no problem in looking.
Yes, well, if we can solve it, it's no problem. But well, of course, I can set this by try and error and finding out what the height should be. But that's not the way.
Well, I'd call the sync OCX height in the init complete, and just to see if that makes a difference.
Yes, I will try that later on. Then the second problem is I am used to use the access area, no, the quick access area, to show some details, some status details. I'm misusing it a little bit as a status bar, but it is very convenient because if users click on this button, they can choose on which client they're working on. Client ID, that's client ID in Dutch. And then if they change from a client ID, this message is changing. That is working all the time. Now in 4.5, it's not working anymore. Only if I resize the window, then this is updated. I can show you.
Yeah, please. Yeah, can we just take a quick look? I mean, of course, I believe you.
Okay. If I, well, now I say I'm not working with a client, and now I'm working with a client. And see the difference, even different on this computer and my Windows 7 computer, because now that bar is resizing, but only if I resize
And
the
that
window.
is a control that's a control within on the command bar, which has been added to the quick access area. Is that correct?
That's correct. I've used this code for it. Yeah, I've used this code for it. You can see it over here. And I don't know how I'll figure that out in the past. But it was working all the time.
In the create controls, that's correct. And then a routine called every time the customer changes. And you are doing that. Set control caption. So just after that, if you can do a command bars dot redraw, does that correct the issue?
Command bar.
Command bar dot redraw.
Okay, we're going to try that.
Let's just see if that makes a difference.
Okay, I'm gonna work on that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, do you want to try that during the webinar, and then we can see if that's fixed it, and maybe tick one off?
Yes, I will try during the webinar, and well, thank you so far.
Oh, no problem. I will. I mean, like to be brutally honest, we are extremely busy this last week and this week at the moment, and it's mainly to do the workshop and preparing for it and so on. So I do apologise to everybody for the delay in responses and so on.
Okay.
Obviously, we normally reply a lot faster, but yeah, it's just a very busy period, unfortunately. So, but next week normal service will be resumed.
Okay, it's completely fine with me. I was just a bit afraid that the emails didn't reach you.
No, apologies. At least I could have done is just apply. Is any consolation? My wife Wendy is not really getting any replies off me, and she's sat in the same room. So no problem.
Okay. Well, however, thank you so far. I'm going to try these solutions and
yes, try the redraw and
yes.
See if that helps.
Yes. See you speak in a few minutes.
Fingers crossed. I'll leave your microphone open, and then you can just let us know.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm just going to get a bit of feedback on the microphone. Actually, I might just temporarily mute that. There you go, just muted it just to be on the safe side. Okay, David, quick question off. Hang on a second. Can everyone hear me? Okay. David, open your microphone.
The mic's not working. Yeah, you gotta turn it off. You gotta turn his off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was turning it off and you were turning it back on, and
right, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't Kuhn.
There's one thing I did actually just miss. Obviously, I mentioned the training workshop, which I'm going to blatantly, before we move on to the next query, I'm just going to give everybody a quick preview of what we're actually going to be doing in the training workshop. Not the code and not the how-to, for the obvious reason, because it's the workshop. And there's a whole dashboard area to go into this yet, and some comms. But just to give you a sneak preview, this is the application that we're going to be creating. I think it's pretty swish.
Are you using it for yourself?
No. Created it just for the workshop and the workshop attendees. So, but you can see it's going to be pretty nice, and we've even got property grids dropping down. Really trying to integrate lots of different settings in here and so on. So there's a lot more to go into it. So we can see here we've got shortcut bars and so on. In here, this is different because yes, you've got a docking pane, but you've actually got a shortcut bar hosting the task panel, but the task panel's hosting command bars. So if we look actually, say in here, these are actually command bar options with separators. So it gives you a lot more ideas and a lot more scope to use. So anyway, that's just a little preview.
Very nice.
It should be. I'm going to do the dashboard now, and that's going to include obviously a lot more toys and so on. So yes, hence why we've been so busy. Okay, so David, you got your question. I've got a microphone. It's open. Oh, David, it's your microphone which is really playing up. So the question was, does Chilcat have Google address geocoding? Bit of a not sure the answer on that. Basically, I think the answer would be yes, because if Google support it, then yes, you'll be able to get to it, because Chilcat is nothing more than the comms, comms library to get to these particular things. If there's a particular example, if you can send us a link, just type it in the question box here. Dave's microphone isn't working correctly, so hence why or David's, I should say, microphone isn't working correctly, so we can't open the mic up. But if you can type in a link to what it is you're looking at, then we can take a look at that quickly now. And if it's something that we can add to the actual Chilcat as a task class, as we've already got hooks into Google, then we can take a look at adding that accordingly. So the the Chilcat class literally gets expanded week by week. So yes, there'll be no reason why we can't add such things. So if you can just let's have a quick look at what he's saying. So I will have a quick look here as well. So it's Google address geocoding, you're asking. Geocoding API. Other conversion address like Okay, so you get an API key. Just having a quick look myself. Before you begin, yeah, just a very, very brief look at that. I can't see why it wouldn't. Obviously, I presume it's wants for JSON. Indicates output in, yeah, that's fine. But of course, we know the Chilcat library is so powerful for the JSON content, so you will have no problem in taking that and extracting what you want from it. And again, also building the JSON content. Parameters, yeah, so the address components. It looks pretty straightforward. Famous last words, of course, but it does look pretty straightforward. Yeah. Yeah, so, and let's have a quick look at that. We'll copy that. Just let's fire up the Chilcat example for JSON. Chilcat. Let's go back to our example. So the actual calls, I'd expect it to actually be a bit more complicated than that if you want the truth. That looks really simple. And then his actual response. That's copied to here. Oops. Go to our JSON content. Okay, so we've loaded that. So basically, let's just have a quick look. I had a look at results 01. Do a get on that. Has that set it? No, it's hard to actually say, but the results, they will say something like address components dot long name. Now, I think the problem might be that not loading correctly, but I expect that to come up and say something like 1600. And it has said 1600. The other just must have been too big. So basically, going back to their example here, I have very, very brief, obviously. You got some kind of call to it, JSON output, so you're going to call the API. JSON, you're going to pass it the parameters. So in the Chillcat, it would be probably a HTTP, is that a post? Or a get, HTTP get against that address with, and you're going to add some parameters. So the HTTP Chillcat HTTP dot add parameter. Clear the parameters first, obviously. Add the separate parameters, what you've got here, and then the get will get you your response in the JSON, and you'll be able to just go and get the actual elements you want. So let's say we wanted, there's the result, not that address. We wanted I thought just one address actually. That's not. There's multiple ones. Yeah, there's number one. That's 0 because they're all 0 base. That's number 0. That's number 1. So mounting view should be number 2. So on and so forth. Yep. So basically in your code, you would probably approach it like that. Happy to take a look. It definitely won't be this week, but happy to take a look, see when we can have a look at adding some things into the task class for that to the Chillcat wrapper, and obviously we'll create the required views and so on. Not the views, the group structures and queues if needed, so you'll be able to call a query and get back a queue of the addresses. So you'll just have a queue populated with this, just as we do with the Google events and the QuickBooks and so on and so forth. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, yeah, no, that's just David saying that. Okie dokie. Next one is Michael. So let's open up Michael. Got a microphone? Are you there, Michael?
Oh, Andy.
Hi. Yes, good. Yourself?
Fine. I have a question. Actually, 2 questions. One is I write it in the calendar. In right click allows insert new event in non-working hours. I have a right click in the calendar.
Okay.
For a new record, edit or delete. Okay.
Let me open up
yes.
Okay, so this is the working hours. So last week I think we'd done it so you could have working hours. So the right click is still allowing it through?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. I'll take a look.
Yes, and then
actually we could probably take a quick look now. Just 1 second. What time are we on?
Yes. Okay.
Looking at the time, but let's take a quick look. Event. That's what we was after here. Do you know what? It's going to be something like new click, new event. Yes, double click. DBL click instead of double. Okay, so what we was looking at here, this is what traps it. Basically, it has a look at the particular status, so on and so forth. So we're saying on the right click, A bit more work to do on that, because of course the right click might be change and delete, which is perfectly fine. So it's not really the right click what wants to be. It wants to be basically to do with the calling of the new event. That's what really wants to be triggered there. That's no problem, but it's a bit more to look at than just doing that today. So I'll have to look at that in more detail. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay, and you say there was a second question?
The second question is for the in the mainframe. I have the frame reminders.
Yes, in the mainframe, yeah. Oh, sorry, I've just got one thing. Oh, yes, sorry. Just got a question in from Frank, but I will. Frank will cover. We'll come to the question in a second. Yes, mainframe reminders. Yes.
Reminders, and when the user open the app, I have the Calendar Pro frame reminders extension. Okay, if I must have the files, the event file open or not for the working of the frame reminders.
No, you don't have to have the calendar open for the reminders on the app frame. No, you don't. You can go without that.
Yes, but if I remove the files, my application is freezing.
If you remove the, I'm not quite following. Okay, well, let's just talk through what's needed, and then you can say where you're experiencing an issue. When you've got the reminders, historically, you could, if you use the Kojak reminder window, then you just trying to think. Yeah, the calendar has to be called. This is for the Kojak reminder window, which is like that window. Okay. Now that has to be started and used on the main application frame, which in reality is not really going to work. What you can do is we've got it where you can have it basically. You can add it to the application frame. What technically happens behind the scenes is we create a hidden window on its own thread, and that has the actual reminders built into it, and it will load and trigger and so on and so forth. Of course, the event still has to be loaded into that calendar as you would in a normal calendar. So you still have to do the loading and so on in there. I would probably have a little load source procedure where you pass the calendar class in as a parameter, and then use that to do all your loading for your whole application, both the reminder window on the application frame and in your main calendar. So I would probably do that. But if you use the Kojak one, it really, I think your calendar has to be on the app frame. If you use the Noyantis one, I mean, you can use that basically on a child window, which isn't on the application frame. So which one? First of all, which one are you using?
I use the Noyantis window now.
Noyantis window, okay. So let's just have a quick look at this. So we've got some in here on our application frame. Let's actually put this. Let's do it. So on our application frame, I'm going to call the reminder window. Okay, now enter reminders. Not going to do a toolbar, so forget that. We don't want to particularly use the toolbar, and not bothered about the delayed start. So that will give us our reminders. Just going to quickly go to where we've got some reminder data, just so we can load some events, that's all. I'm going to take the data out of here. So it's going to be in our file load, data load I should say. Okay, call our class Calendar Pro. We're going to have our new data load events. Okay, that's going to do delete what's there, go and load some, put the reminder on it, so on and so forth. So we expect that to work. Obviously, let's include the events in our other tables. Okay, let's open that up. Oh, hang on a second, don't turn the reminder on. Just 1 second. I might have added it to the application frame, but you can turn the actual facility on and off. So of course I need to turn the reminders on. Yeah, reminders, yes, use the Noyantis. We'll just go with the standard wording and icons. Okay, so now our application's opened and the calendar, the reminder windows kicked in to life, which we expected, and we've got a fire inspection due in 6 hours according to this. So that's as simple as it is to actually to implement. As I say, I wouldn't actually I wouldn't have that code replicated. I would actually probably use a source procedure and pass in the calendar class, but that's not what you're asking. I'm just saying what would be efficient for an application point of view. So have you got, is yours like that? Have you got that?
But I must have the events file open, okay?
Oh, you've got to have the events file open, yes, because you're loading from them.
Okay. Yes, because I have a pack procedure and have problems with the file open in the main.
I suppose it's a bit crude. Let's take that one off there. We'll close it. Okay, yes. And in here, never tried this, but let's try events. Open. Do a clear. We're doing a set, so there's no access on it, to be fair. And then close.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So now it's only opening the table, reading, populating and closing when it.
If I open this reminder, will open my calendar. If opened.
On this. Oh, I've not called an update. Sorry, that's not going to do it. Let me give it an update form, because of course we've said open, but we've not actually give it anything. So we'll say yes, open. We want to use an update form, something like update events. Now we haven't got the table open, so I'm not sure what would happen to this actually. It's a bit of a tough one. I think it's a bit of a tough one. I'm going to just put it back as I would have expected it to work, to be honest, with the event table there. I think you might be asking a little too much from it, to be fair. Would have expected that to open though. Just check our Noyantis. They are with reminders, something like that. Yeah, open. We should get that. Yeah, so not sure why you're not getting that off there. Oh, of course I am. Sorry, because we've only done part of the job. 1 second. We'd literally only done part of our coding. The good news for everybody on this, okay, not the update, it's a fetch, sorry. Just let me do this. So it's doing the fetch. all these embed points, the data load, delete, the code is very similar. In fact, the code is virtually identical. I can't say it's going to be the next build of the calendar, but it's going to be not a million miles after that. We are actually going to build that facility into the template, so it will write all that code for you. You won't have to do any of the writing for you. It will do it for you. You won't have to do any of the writing yourself.
Yes.
So that is, we know it opens. It's going to be some of the missing embed code, like fetching the record, open, prime, and so on and so forth. But it does come down to you might get away with just opening it. You're gonna, if you want to take charge of when the files are opened and closed under condition, then you're going to have to put all them open and closed in the actual relevant places. You're not going to get away with just put them in one, just in the load. I think you're going to have to put them everywhere it really wants to interact with the table. For example, in the fetch prior to calling the update form, so on and so forth. It could be quite a bit of work to do that. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it could be a bit of work.
Okay.
Does that? Well, I'm not sure. Does that help?
Yes, okay. I understand. I must copy for my schedule all the code in the main. Okay. Not all the code, the data load and the fetch and all.
What I would do. So let's say that data load, the thing I was on about a minute ago.
Yes, I can do this. Okay.
Yeah, I would do something like source procedure, calendar load, okay.
Okay.
Calendar load. We're going to pass in Calendar Pro class as Calendar Pro, and that can have the table, and it can actually generate the open and close for us as well. So in our process code, open tables, it's open files, isn't it? And at the end, you would want to close files. And we'll probably have a return. So in between there, we would have our code. And that parameter is coming in. So it's not Calendar Pro. We actually passing the class in as P Calendar, as class. So it's going to be P Calendar Pro because that's the name of our parameter. Okay, so something like that. So we could technically call that. We've got just that calendar load. You could call that off here. So in the data load here, instead of all that, in fact, let's just get rid. We would just say calendar load calendar pro. Pass the whole class to it. Oh, it's going to want a couple of dates, of course. That's fair enough because that receives some dates. So let's say we're going to pass that. We're going to pass the start date and the end date, of course. And on our source procedure, calendar load, that's going to want our 2 dates as well. Param start date, just to keep the code, save me changing the other code, and date, param end date. Do we not think that in? Oh,
Yes.
no, thought I did. Pound star date. Time we on? Oh, crikey. Okay, so now we've got just a little source procedure, and we pass the calendar class in, and that can do our loading. So if we add, and you've got your main calendar elsewhere in your application, so we go back to here. So we've taken all of the code out of there now. We've just got it in our one place. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it into our other reminder window, which we used as an example a second ago. So elsewhere in our application, I'm going to get rid of our data load. I'm going to call that same one. Okay. So we know it's working off the main application frame. And if we go to our other example, and we can see it's loading there. So now our data loading is just in one little source procedure. And if we had other calendars, that's a completely different calendar class and object than the one on the application frame. But it's still the same source code. So now you've just got one common piece of source code doing all your loading for all of your calendars within your application.
Yes. And with the stuff, okay, the same load that we load and the stuff, and
Yeah,
then for each stuff.
with that, yeah, you could just have a little one of, instead of calendar load, could be calendar load events and calendar load stuff.
Yes. Okay.
So I would do that because you're going to have, in one of my applications, I have the calendar 3 times. I have, or more actually, 4 times. I have the calendar for the reminders on the application frame. I have the calendar actually in a diary window. I have the calendar driving an invoicing screen because there's repeating events and so on, recurring events. But then I also have the calendar on the update event form so that you've got a live view of the calendar. So as people are putting the event in, they can see visually how it's going to affect the calendar. So you've got 4 calendars in the system, but I only have one source procedure doing all the loading for it.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Are we good?
Yes.
Brilliant. Very good. I shall. I think you're there on Thursday, so I shall see you then.
Yes.
Okay. So pressing on. Frank just asked. Let's see if Frank's there. I think he's on a support call. Put you on the spot. Frank, are you there, or are you on a call?
Hey, Andy.
Yes.
Oh.
No, go on, Arnold.
You made Kuhn a panelist, so he couldn't write a message to the question. So you got to look at the chat to see his question.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You want to next time just share the screen. Yeah, you don't want to make him a panelist. Otherwise, he can't put questions in there.
Good to know. Thank you very much. But I'm trying to find the chat. I can't see the chat now.
Look at the bottom of the panel. It should be a.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yes. 64. I tried both solutions, but unfortunately both didn't work. Might be a problem. I'm still on CodeJot 16.2.4. That shouldn't make a difference, the CodeJot version, but I will check that myself. Didn't upgrade. Want to change one time. Okay. Yeah, which basically you only want to change the controls first. The templates first, and then the controls. Ordinarily, I'd say the controls wouldn't make a difference. So let's don't bother changing those just yet, and I will check what what I can find out at my side, both on the redraw. This is the command bar question from earlier, both on the redraw and on that particular hidden size, visual size, which is appearing. So yes, I'll have a look on my side. Okay. Yeah, Frank's not there, I don't think. So Frank's question, and I will reply via an email, but Frank's question was, will the workshop, this is a training workshop, which I'm blatantly giving another plug to. Hopefully more people will attend. We've got a few already, so that's good. But he's saying, will the online workshop content be available on live, or will it be available at any time for those that sign up? The answer is yes to both. For those who attend the training workshop, obviously we do it live. They are all done in separate steps. So, for example, anybody who's seen, attended training workshops in the past, this is the type of thing. So basically, we take you through the different steps. So adding command bars, adding a host window, property grids. Basically, we take you through the settings of how and why and so on and so forth. And as well as that, we give you snapshots. So let's just take, I'm just trying to find my particular folder where they are. So it won't be a second. Here we go. Here's one we prepared earlier. So you've got all these different steps, and we give you different snapshots. So each time you can basically jump in at any one particular point and go, okay, just cover step 10 for me again. So of course you'll get the recording from the actual webinar, but you'll also get the different snapshots of the application. So you can jump straight to step 10. It's not as though you have to cover a load of ground which you might already know of. You'll be able to basically copy in step 10, that's step 10 completed, and then start on step 11, and you'll be right up to date on that particular content. So that's the approach that we'll be using. Sorry, just 1 second. Someone's offering me a cuppa, and I'm English. I'm never going to turn down a cup of tea. So yes, basically that's so. Frank, I will reply via email as well. But basically, the answer is yes. You will get both. We'll be covering the content live. We'll be covering the content on recordings. You'll get the recordings from the session as well, and you'll get the course material, including the individual steps. So you should be really well covered. Okay. Have we got Stan here? Just let me have a quick look. Stan. Yes. Hi, Stan. Just put you on the spot. I'll leave the mic open just in case. Stan, it's really a status update for yourself for the Chilcat wrapper. So let's just jump straight into that again. And it was to do with the QuickBooks integration. So Stan's question was, and I was actually thought this was covered, so I'm just logging into Chilcut book. Oh, just 1 second. Okay, so yes, so just logged in. Here we go. We've got a connection, and normally in all of our examples, we can see like we can just download questions. So let's do download accounts and whatever particular entity. You've got this, and you can do your change, and it's only a dummy form, which we've just knocked together. Obviously, in an application, you would have yours looking visually, so much better, but it gets the job done. So we could technically, where is this? This is a general ledger account. So I can say here, just going to bring that down, change its description to ABC. Okay. Changes ABC, and there it is. It's been pushed up to QuickBooks. The sync token's gone up accordingly, so from 2 to 3, and the description's now been changed. If I was to change that back again, and we expect now our sync token to go to 4, and it's been changed. So we've covered plenty of times the QuickBooks, but it was to do with journal entries. The example app, do apologise, I was convinced it was actually done, and it's not. It got released in this state, and it never really got to the crude update form. So I will do that as a matter of urgency. There's no way I was going to get it in for today. I know he desperately needs it, but there's no way it was going to get in for today, but I will get it done for you ASAP. The actual content you're going to need to do is relatively simple. I know there's another particular client who uses this, and yes, basically it's not a particular example, an application together for them for that. Let's just bring up the kind of thing, not the application, obviously, but just the things you're going to need to look at, because that's all really the example app's going to do. We'll look at the class, look at the journals. Okay, so we've got the journal entry group. This is a header group. So to show the example app at the same time, this is the journal entry header. So we look at that and we'll be able to see some similarities. Hang on a second. Okay, so yeah, a token, some metadata, document number, date, particular notes, currencies, exchange amount, and the any particular adjustment, that type of thing. The detail comes in the lines, and what you would do here is you would have these journal entry lines, again conforming to QuickBooks business rules, but yes, you would have basically a line ID, just as you have everything has an ID. You'd have an ID, a line number, 1, 2, 3, usual things, description, an amount, and then depending on the type, so each line can have a particular different detail. So we can see here, if it's a line detail, so it's this type will dictate which fields you're going to use. If it's a line detail, then you would use these fields. And if it's if it's a journal entry line, I'd have to check the QuickBooks thing, but if it's a journal entry line, it's going to use them fields, and if it's a description line, you would use those fields. When I say about obviously it's a journal entry, so I imagine in any accounting system you're going to have to make sure that they accumulate up to 0. So if you're debiting one particular account, you're crediting another account, that type of thing. So you've got your accounts there. So if it's a journal entry line, you can see here the journal entry reference number there. So it would be the account reference. Let's say, we haven't got the actual journal entries there. So that's basically what you're going to be looking at. So if we took over here, it will be this account. If you wanted to move £100 or $100, whatever, from account accumulated depreciation, so it would be ID 3, and you're going to move it to expenses. So it would be going to account 12. So in this structure here, you'd have 2 lines. One would be account ref value 3, and the other one would be account ref value 12. And you would have, well, that's really it for that. And the tax amount, no, that's really it. And you would have your amount. So one would be $100 and the detail type. But I'll put an example together for you. You already got a very similar example in there in the invoices. This works exactly the same way. So we have to do a download all on the invoices. We take a quick look at the invoice line. So we can see there's the invoice header. Okay. Here's our invoice line. And you will have there, just like you had before, ID, line number, description, amount, detail type, and then it's the actual type. Is it a sales item? So you use the sales item fields. Is it a group item? You'd use those fields. Is it a description only? You'd use those fields. Or is it a discount? And you'd use those fields. Or a subtotal. So it's 5 types. Exactly the same approach for the journal entry. Don't know if that helps in the short term, but that's all the example app's going to really do. But I will get that populated out for you. Just check the microphone is open again. Hi Stan, are you there?
Yeah.
Right, we did open it before, but we started getting a bit of noise, so I cut it back. So apologies for not getting the update to you today. It's just mad busy, is the simple truth.
Yeah, where my trouble was is at the beginning. I understood the line detail, but the syntax right before that, the ID and the line number, I couldn't understand what the expected and the detail
Right.
You can go back to that group. I can show you where my issue was.
So for the journal entry. Yeah, so we've got the header there.
The header, and then you have your detail line.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you ever see the comment, I do. This is kind of the structure that QuickBooks will dictate. But if it wants basically what would be a JSON array, if it wants child records, then I just put a little comment in there, and then of course give you the actual structure. So yes, you would have the line number.
All right.
And so on and so forth, and then you have this detail type. So
the detail type comes from the journal entry or the other.
It would be journal. Well, I'll tell you what we can do. Let me quickly have a look for you. Update. Journal entry. So you're going to call the update journal entry with the header and the line Q and tax line Q. I'm not sure you'll need that, to be honest. And then the action, which is insert, change, delete. So now, forget this stuff. This is, in fact, you shouldn't be able to be getting your hands dirty in this. I'm just doing it to try and to help you out, so you could, at least you can get somewhere. What it's going to do is it's going to go through. It's going to prepare the posting header, so on. Prepare some extra values for whether it's insert and changing. If it's got records in the queue, which of course it's going to be expecting, this is where it's going to start getting some stuff. So it's going to get the line number.
All right, where does the ID come from? Right above the line number.
On the post?
Mm-hmm.
I'd leave that blank. If you're inserting, if you're changing, you'll already have it populated from your download. But if you are inserting, I'd leave it blank.
All right, and then your line number is 1, 2, 3, right?
Yep. Line number is just a sequential number, description and amount,
and then your detail type should be journal entry in most cases.
Well, what I will just quickly do for you, I expected to see a case statement there, if you want the truth. Yeah, expect to see a case statement. So if I was to just look at the invoice one, yeah, on the invoice one, you can see I've done a case here to say, okay, what detail type, and I only set them accordingly. I know this works for the journal entry because one of the clients is actually on here today. Uses this. I did a particular application for him to post journal entries up to QuickBooks. So I know. I know that it particular works and so on, but I would have expected to see a case statement there. That must be the back end being, having sufficient information to know what to ignore and what to use. Just going to have a quick look at the QuickBooks help. So let's have a quick look. QuickBooks
it was
Online.
Some of those beginning things of the line detail that I didn't know what to do.
I will put the example together for you next week. Well, I'll get it probably before next week, time permitting. Let's have a quick look. Sorry, I didn't want that. I wanted the.
Because I finally fixed the other error that happened when I tried to go to a secondary screen.
Oh yes. Oh, how did you go on? How did you do that?
I got it to work by redesigning the entire program, and it flows nice and smooth now, and I'm very happy with it.
Oh, very good. Oh,
I was just down to this one thing, and I'm like, that syntax, I can't understand exactly what it wants.
Oh, there's you. So you can see here. That's basically a general rule of thumb, which I try and stick to as close as possible. Is you can see here that they would have two particular. They want a journal entry line type or a description only. And you can see that these fields would be, that's got the ID, the line detail type, okay, so on and so forth. Journal code reference entity, so on. You've got those, and there should be one for, if we scroll down, we start getting quite detailed there. Should be the description one somewhere. Can't see for looking. close that back up. I'm lost here now. Close that show child. Okay, let's come off that. But basically, just going back to the class, what you would have, if I go back to this, is we had two types, journal entry line type, and there was a description line type. So I'll always try and give the fields the start off that, just to try and guide you. So if you're doing a journal entry type, set those fields.
Okay.
If you're doing a description, set those fields. And the same with the invoice type one. So you can see with that invoice, there was loads. There was sales item, there was group item, discount, description, or description only, I should say. I'll always try and tie the names in, and where it's dot notation, so discount dot percentage based, I would put an underscore, because of course from a field name I can't have a dot, so I'd use an underscore. So we can see here that if we was to look in the help, it would be sales item type, so it would be sales item dot tax classification reference dot value. So I have the field. Now of course I can't always completely stick to that, because the field names can get a little too long, but 99% of the time I will try and stick to that same naming convention, so at least you're in you're in the right ballpark, if you will.
Okay, that clears up that. Now, when you get ready to release the program, there's an ActiveX control, I think, that you have to ship with the client.
Yes, yep. There's only one. It's just a DLL. It is.
And where is it?
You'll have it. Oh, I don't want to close that. Just let me move that out of the way. And let's move that out of the way. Close that. Close that. Ship the application. You would add your global. You've already got that. On your global, you would have your license code, and you'd have that compiled in, and that would come from Chilcat. So all CodeShot, same for the CodeShot controls. You would have that, and you compile that in. And on your registration, use regfreecom and current directory.
All right, so where is the DLL?
Okay, so you would have it. Let me just go into here. Here's a folder, and you will see that the control is that one. Chilcat AX dash 950 Win32.
So what's the other one, the 76?
Oh, that was just me for switching, playing about.
Okay.
So if I go on to that, that is version 72, 95072, and so that's just me playing about in that folder. By turning on the registry, and that would be, by the way, from your install directory, I'm guessing, if I was to go here, program files x86, Chilcat, various different installs, and it would be in there.
Okay.
When you turn on the regfreecom, from a distribution point of view, you would obviously ship your application. That's first and foremost. You would ship the DLL, which is that name there. Your application would have a manifest. So there's your manifest for your application, and we modify that via the template, and then we also create that manifest for you. So let me just take a quick look at that for you. So you would see the application manifest has been modified, and it's had that added to it automatically. So it's telling it that it's also going to make use of the Chilcat 95072 control. So that's your application manifest. The other one is automatically created for you. That's the content. It might look a bit crazy, but that basically is the actual CLSIDs for the individual parts of the Chilcat control. You don't have to worry about it. All you've got to do is just make sure that that file is in your folder. That's it.
Okay.
And they are created. So in your application, tick regfreecom, turn it on, and on your global properties, where you've got your manifest, your actions, go to your file control, not file control, sorry, app settings, manifest, and generate. I don't normally have the link on the very first time because I want to see it generated and I want to see its content just to make sure it's right. But you can compile it in afterwards. But the first time, just have it turned off so you can see it's generated. It's got the modified contents in there, and then you know it's good.
Okay. All right.
So, now I know
that takes care of the QuickBooks questions.
Okay, I know you had one question. I'm just going to see if I can to do with Crypt 2. Was that correct?
Yeah, I wanted to understand Crypt 2 because I was having trouble understanding how some of those values were even getting initialized because they didn't look like they affected anything.
I'm just trying to see. I've done a. Is it even in this application? I've been working on this. Have a quick look. Crypt 2.
Yes, the second one right there.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, yeah. Because I use this for passing some data. The actual say so myself, it's a nice little utility. Basically, we had to get data from one country to another. They wouldn't keep couldn't FTP it because they wouldn't keep anything open for us, and it had to be encrypted, and the data files had to be also keep live all the time, but they still had to be replicated from one site to another. So we did it. We use a combination of the chillcat stuff. We use the socket to open the socket from one country to the other. It doesn't really matter the country, but one was China to the US, and we had to. The China wouldn't keep the particular socket open, and it would change the port number, so we couldn't really guarantee what it was. So we have China initiate the open to the US. We keep the port open so that we've got something to send the data back to. We read the TPS into a JSON. So we actually read the records, create a structure live, bring it into JSON, transfer that into a string builder, and then we transfer that. We encrypt it using Crypt 2, but we use the binary data object in between, because then you can do your Crypt 2 on the binary data, and all of these are just one command. So to transfer from JSON into string builder, it's emit SB, emit string builder, and you pass the object, so that puts it into there. And then to get the string builder into the binary data, I think it's I forget what the name of the method is, something like save BD, save build binary data, and then you in the Crypt 2 library you can make use of the binary data object. So that's a real very, very, very high level description of what we did, and then we use socket. Then we use a socket to transfer the data back and forth, and extracted out at the other side, decrypted, extracted, and applied it back to the data files, and repeated the process at both sides accordingly. So yeah, it works really well. It's all running as a service as well.
I liked it.
Yeah, it
my
did exactly
question
what we needed.
Was much simpler than what you're asking, what you're explaining.
Well, it was just to say basically you might have to use multiple. To use a Crypt 2, you want to use a string builder, and depending on the content of that, you might want to use something else. It might be XML, might be JSON, might be whatever. But you might want to be making use of the other libraries first, rather than trying to get too in depth of this. This is just taking simple strings.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I was going to use it.
Okay.
But on the Crypt algorithm, all right, we have AES.
Yes.
And you have key length of 256. Does that mean that this is AES 256 encryption?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going to where are we? Algorithm. Yes. And no, sorry, that's the key length. Oh yes, no, that would be yes. So if we encrypt that,
because I couldn't figure out what the whether or not these were 64-bit encryptions or 256 or what. That was
depends. Have you got a particular specification? Have you got a thing that you're working towards and you need to get to?
Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to import data from payroll imports into the payroll program.
Right. Okay.
And allow it to be encrypted in the .NET platform and in mine using the same techniques so that I can read it when I'm doing timesheet conversions or payroll imports. But some of the data is encrypted, some of it's not, but I have to be able to encrypt it the same way that my son is on his side of the program.
Got you. Okay.
And I was trying to figure out, well, how do you get the data? And is this what I thought it was, which it is? But we're fixing to go play with that all week. Until we find the solution where he can read it and I can write it and vice versa.
Well, I'll have to. If you run into problems, it's typical, isn't it? It's the worst week to do it on. If you run into problems, give me a shout. It's going to be a delay this week, unfortunately. There's nothing I can do about that. But if you've got a particular spec that you're going against, still fire the emails to us. And it might be when I'm sat on the sofa at night and I just have the laptop and just take a quick look. But I will take a look and see if I can help out at all on it. But this will through this combination, you will be able to accomplish what you're after. Because all of this, basically.
Well, I was hoping. I just was wanting to make sure that I was dealing with the right security.
Yeah, no, you'll be able to do it via this. Or you can see here I've got the BD. That's hence with what I was saying before about the binary data. So this is a very crude example. It does want padding out to give much more detail and so on, and probably real world examples as well.
Well, I was going to work on the real world example and see if my son could read it and vice versa. But that was tomorrow's project.
Yeah, well, I know. I can say with a very good degree of confidence that via a number of the particular classes, so like say the binary data and the string builder and definitely the crypt 2 and possibly some others, via a number of the base classes, you will be able to accomplish, because people are using these to talk to government gateways, published APIs on many different platforms and organizations. It's just this standard stuff. I mean, you can use this for your encryption to just storing your actual data files encrypted and so on and so forth. So you'll be able to do what you're after on this. It's just a matter of getting the right combination.
Yeah, I just have to have certain pieces of data inside the program encrypted.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody gets to it, they don't get anything.
Of course, yeah, and that's a good thing, really.
Yep.
So,
alrighty, I appreciate it.
Look at your spec. Oh, no problem. Send questions across, send details across. Just don't panic if I don't respond.
Well, I hope I don't have any.
So, but yeah, this would be a starting point.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go try the journal entry today. So now that I understand those questions.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, I know about QuickBooks, so yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, thank you.
No, you're welcome. And then last but not least, although I said it was going to be a short one today, and we're actually we're nearly up to time, but we've got Bijan who's after a quick question to do with the HTML. Hi Bijan, are you there? No? Okay. So Bijan's questions was all related to inserting HTML code into existing HTML code. HTML content, I should say. And basically, yes, you can do it. The only thing you've got to watch out in Clarion, actually nothing to do with Crypt 2, but we'll use this as an example, as a text entry. The one thing you would have to watch for is basically, let's just say we add some HTML code of this is a test, that kind of thing. Nothing to do with the HTML control or whatever control you're working with, actually. Could be the Chillcat, could be CodeJot, could be anything. Nothing to do with that. What you can actually experience is basically quoting out, if you will, special characters. So I know with Clarion, if you wanted to send ABC in square brackets, something like that, you would have to double the first character because it doesn't like it. If you wanted to send in quotes ABC, you would have to double up that. Or in other languages, you would escape it, so it would be something like backslash double quote, and so on and so forth. So, and I think curly braces has one as well. So if you wanted to send ABC in curly braces, it wouldn't be. It would be double double opening ABC, single quote closing. So, and it's just a clarion. Obviously, it's to do with the compiler and how it sees particular content, and so on. So it's the actual run, sorry, the compiler and the runtime. So what you really need to do is just double up. So Bijan's questions were really to do with, I'm just trying to see if we've got an example here. He's trying to insert. Can I copy that text? In fact, we'll come off that example. We'll just use Notepad. Okay, the microphone is open, by the way, Bijan, if you're around. So you've got to insert at cursor, which is correct. He's using HTML editor. He wants to insert at the position after where the cursor is, and he's inserting this. That wouldn't work because you've got this. Now what you can do is you could wrap that, each class based on the common class, that would be something along the lines of, oh, now what's the method? Just let me get the method for us. NYS expand HTML characters, expand special characters. So it'll probably be something like HTML editor, expand special characters, and then you would pass that. Now what that will do is it will see the double quotes and it'll double them up for you. So it's probably sending something. Actually, I forget what it sends, but basically, yeah, it would ensure that you could actually load that into the control. Now, there's probably some other characters that we need to do, and so on and so forth, and we can add to the actual library. But if you was the difference between Bijan's example, sorry, and basically, that's the difference. You would wrap your content in a call to expand special characters, especially if it's got double quotes. So that would get you your content in. The second one, that one wouldn't. That one would.
I see.
Oh, you're there. Hi.
Sorry, my microphone was not set up correctly. Go ahead.
So that's one. Now there could be other characters as well. But these are something, they are clarion funnies. So I know sending in something like that, you'd have trouble with. Sending in that would work.
I see.
So, but clarion it's obviously some internal reason for it, and probably to do with the property, in our code and so on and so forth, the prop which opened the curly brace. So you have to just double them up.
I noticed, Andy. I noticed that if I switch to toggle it to source, and then insert the HTML code, and then toggle back, it works fine.
Ah, well, that's because you're not going via clarion. If you toggle,
that's right.
That's the code. You put in the code. You put in the code directly into the actual control itself, so you're not going via clarion, so it would work.
I thought maybe there was a certain mode in with the object that could do that automatically and then put it back, but
no, it's because it's going via the you're actually directly in the actual control itself.
So expand special characters is something that you wrote?
Yes.
Okay, because I was looking at that. Perfect. I'll try that.
I have to do that. I've just been working on a particular project where I'm using a lot of JSON. I wanted to get something like, well, where was the example before to do with the geotagging, which we mentioned earlier, geocoding, sorry, not geotagging. So let me just open that up 1 second. G Suite. Oh, there it is. Sorry, couldn't see for looking. So, geocoding, we're using a particular example. I'm just going to pinch part of it. So something like, let's say the start of that.
I see.
And we wanted to get that into our JSON. Okay, if we had that and we tried to get it into JSON, something like JSON object or the class, whatever, update string, and it would be result. Oh, forgot my thing. It would be results 0 dot address components 0 because it's refers to its array dot long name. Now, if I did a get, which I did before, it give me out 1600 or amphitheater, probably abbreviation for partway, that kind of thing. But it gave me out what I was after. If I wanted to, and that would be a string of. If I wanted to set it, e.g., update string, if I wanted to set that to something like, actually, it's probably a bad example, that would work because the output of that would change that to ABC. But if I wanted to actually go and set some raw, so I'm not doing the long name, I'm just going to set all of that in one go. So I'm going to set it to something like components 0 dot, and then I need to get a double quote in there. Sorry, long name quote 1600, something like that. If I wanted to set that, that wouldn't work because I've got double quotes in the something like that. That wouldn't work because it's got double quotes in it. What I would have to do is wrap that in the whatever the class is dot expand special characters.
Yeah, I see.
And then it would do it.
Perfect.
Actually, that's a bad example because what you can do in that is pass an extra parameter of true on the end, and true means it will expand the characters for you, the content for you automatically. So, but I haven't done that in the HTML editor, so maybe I should do.
No, I see. No, I'll try that. I think you did mention that in the other day, the expand special characters. But I looked at it, but I wasn't using it like this. I'm gonna have to use it inside the cursor after select. Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
No problem.
Great.
Okay, so I think we've covered all the questions, which is good. I'm just checking. Hang on, Paul. Andy, working mic. Oh, Paul did have a question. Sorry, I missed it. Is Paul still here? Yes, yes. Hi, Paul. Hi, Paul. Okay, well, see if Paul's got a mic. He's got a. Oh, yeah. So you're saying I don't have a working mic. Sorry, I completely misread what you said. But you say you do have one. Okay. Can you point me an example of adding a record using data binding with report control? Okay. Just trying to think off the top of my head myself. What I do, put the add row to it. If you're using data binding, I'm not sure if you want to do edit in place. All of this application is using data binding. But what I'm doing here is basically I've got data binding to load the content, but then I'm just doing a standard insert access, try insert to put in a new record. So for example, 2, Oh no, I don't want that, sorry. Dr. Tutu. There you go. Not very exciting data. But basically that is, what that's technically done there is done a standard access try insert, well, a prime, called our form. Obviously we've done an insert on it, and then when it comes back, we do the data bind refresh, and that will refresh the content. Doesn't have to open and close and reopen the connection. The connection stays open to the data bind source, but the refresh is the efficient way of getting it, and then it will put you on the new positioned record. So, but if you're after doing basically that with edit in place, I would have to have a look. Not done it at the moment. Not to say I shouldn't do it. I'd have to have a look to make sure you can. There's no reason why the class wouldn't do it for you, because it's got the actual raw calls to the actual data bind. So there's no reason why it shouldn't work, but I would have to check it before confidently saying it would. So I can check that for you and have a look. But in this application, I've not needed it, but it does do the update, as you can see. So if I was to, let's go and change them now to 3. And I have tested the edit in place. Actually, there is another example. So it does let me open up another example. Do you know what? I've got so many windows open. Just let me open one here. Won't be a second. I'm just going to try and find it. I'm going to do it on that machine. I'm going to have to switch to another machine. Let's have a look on here. Won't be a second. Oh, just thought of something. Won't be a sec. Okay. No. Sorry, it won't be a second. Makes for a poor demonstration this, but I just want to switch to show you something of what it was. And this is all data bind. It has to be for what we're trying to accomplish. Okie dokie. Nearly there. Got the wrong control, but basically this was to do with Unicode and the opening the back end. It doesn't really matter. This is a data bind, and that's opening it raw at the back end. Obviously that's edit in place, as you can see. It supports Unicode, which is one of the factors we wanted. So it was to do with the Chinese character set, and it's working. I've just literally got the wrong control. It's running reg3com, and it's running the standard ANSI rather than the Unicode. But for demonstration purposes, what you're after, just updating, you will get it. So the class to the ADO link would work for the update, for the delete. So there's no reason why the actual the insert wouldn't work exactly the same way as well. I will check that out for you, Paul, just to check. How we do it on here, I don't know. Maybe just via a keystroke, I suppose. The insert key, something like that. I would have to, because then we want a manual call to the add row and delete row. But the add row should talk to the back end, which would in turn insert your blank record, let you put your content in, and when you hit the enter, save it accordingly. It's not something I've tried, but there's no reason why it shouldn't, because the rest of it works perfectly fine, the refreshing, the changing, and so on and so forth. So I will look into that and check it for you. Yeah, leave that with us. To answer your question, to give you pointers, just try calling the add row, or add row method. Put it maybe on a button. So back to this example, I would on the list, I would have a button up here for insert, change, delete. Check your delete. Deletes a data bound row. Check your insert and see if that calls the add row, and see if that actually at the back end inserts you your a new row in your data source, the ADO data source. Paul is saying there, I would like to use editing place, which is like this here, A, B, C, E, F, H, I, so on, that kind of thing. Okay, cool. Bill's asking, will this be covered during the class? That's on the training this week. Not sure it's fully in the training content, but we'll definitely. I'll make a point that we maybe towards the end of the day. I'll make a point that we cover the ADO stuff. Yeah. I'll make sure we cover the ADO content. Okie dokie. Right, we are over time, and I'm definitely over time. If there's no other questions, which looks like there's not, then we're going to wrap it up. For those who are attending the training workshop, thank you very much, first of all, and I shall see you or speak to you Thursday. It starts for attendees who actually come into the conference here in the UK. It starts from 9 AM. Emails will go out accordingly, of course, with the details. The emails will probably go out tomorrow. For those who are attending online, again, thank you very much. And details will go out tomorrow. And we're starting at 9 AM. This is Greenwich Mean Time. For the meet and greets, for the people in attendance, we're 9:30 start for the actual content. So the online are really going to be aiming for about 9:30 AM for the Thursday and the Friday. Okay, I shall see you all next week. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.